Welcome back, guys. Angel of the Night 091 here, coming at you with a new video here today. We are going to go through and show you guys how to use some Sony Vegas. Now, many of you guys know that I do all of my video editing in Sony Vegas 12, and I don't really dabble with any other video editors. Once you find the right one, you tend to stick with it. So today what we're going to do is we're actually going to edit one of my Wi-Fi battles. So as you can see here, we've got my scoreboard all loaded up here, ready to go. I've even changed the name to Hef Nasty. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up Sony Vegas. And here we go. And of course, I've got a couple of multiple monitors here. If you know, a screen pops up or something like that, I'll make sure I move it over to the proper screen. So here we go. You guys have Sony Vegas installed, hopefully, before doing this. If you guys don't have Sony Vegas, you're going to definitely want to acquire it. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is start a new project. So you go to File and New. And these are my settings here for my YouTube videos. So as you can see here, we are in the resolution of 1920 by 1080. The file order, we do a progressive scan. The reason being is that if you go with upper or lower fields, your different layers will come out throughout your video. So let's say if you have a battle video as your bottom track, and you have all your other layers above it, if you go lower field first, everything's just going to goof up. So just do a progressive scan. It's way easier. Now the pixel aspect ratio, you're going to want to leave it as square. And the reason being is that if you go to any other setting, it's going to come out based on that file format or that format type. So for doing 1920 by 1080, you're going to want to stay with square 1.0. Now, my frame rate, I usually tend to go with 60 frames per second. As you can see here, 59.940 is the highest you can go in this category. So just make sure you stay at 59.94. Stereoscopic mode is off. Pixel format is 32-bit. The composition gamma is 1.0 linear. And what you're going to want to do is where it says View Transform, just turn that off. The reason being is that if you have any other of these settings on, it's going to actually change the colors of your video, and they won't be the true colors. For full resolution render quality, keep it at best. The motion blur, keep it Gaussian. And of course, we're just going to leave it the way it is. Just hit OK. Okay, so those are the project settings. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is put all of your footage into the Sony Vegas program. So I do everything. I save all my stuff in Dropbox, guys. If you guys are starting to do YouTube or you're starting to Twitch stream or anything like that, if you have multiple computers you like to do things with, Dropbox is a really easy way to share your information across your platforms. So this is my Wi-Fi battles folder from October of this year. And as you can see, I've got like 30 videos in here. The video we're going to be editing today is battle number 28, which is actually versus Hef Nasty. We're just going to hit yes here. Let me just double check one thing. Just want to make sure that that setting is off. Perfect. So right now, when you add the video in here, you've got your background. So you've got your main battle video, and you've got your audio track here. So you've got two different tracks. So what you could do is just rename them, just so that way you can keep track of what is what. And this one here is the battle video audio. So to basically rename those, all you have to do is just go through and just right click on them, go to rename. So with everything that you're going to be doing here in this battle video, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to add all of your files to it. So let me see here. I got to go to my battle video folder, and I'm going to just start dropping my files into here. Layouts. All right, so I have a layouts folder, I have a green screen one, and we've got to find Hef Nasty's name here. Should be here. Yep, there we go. Back to layouts. Oh. Just going to drag these in here. So basically, you just want to keep dragging all of your files in to what you're going to be doing. Now, for the Pokemon tiles, I actually have video recordings of every Pokemon from the Pokedex. So this is how I do my scoreboard, guys. First thing we're going to do is we're going to find We're going to find Slowbro, Gengar, and Aerodactyl. We're also going to get Muck in another folder. So we need Slowbro. Where are we here? There we go. There's Slowbro. We need Gengar. We need Aerodactyl. Let's see here. There's Aerodactyl. We're going to then need to get Fortress and... Oh, that's just Fortress. Okay. Let's get Fortress here. Where are we? There we go. There's Fortress. And the next ones are in Gen 3. So the biggest thing is get all of your files into Sony Vegas. And just drag and drop. That's all you got to do. It'll take me a few moments to get them all in here. There's so many Pokemon files to go through. Altaria, Camerupt, and Glalie. Altaria, Camerupt. There we go, Camerupt. Altaria, and Glalie. There we are. I don't have any Gen 3 myself, so we can go into Gen 4 and get Infernape. Alright, there's Infernape. We can also get Rotom Wash. And... Actually, I think I have him already here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, so it's just my team that we have to get. Okay, Rotom Wash. Where are we here? Oh, yes, yes. I just only have Rotom. I don't have the individuals. Okay. We also need to get Haxorus and Sylveon. Come on, Haxorus. Where are you? There we go. Haxorus. And then Sylveon is in Gen 6. There we go. And then I have to go back to the Alola Dex. We need to get ourselves Muck. Where is Muck? It's the problem when you have so many files, right? There we go. Alright, so Muck. So we've got to just drag him into the program here as well. So now we should have 12 Pokemon. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6. Alright, so we've got our battle video down here at the bottom layer. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to this track here. So my top track currently. I'm going to right click and insert a video track. And we're just going to drag down our video track on top of it. So we're putting an image right over top of the battle video. Now, in order to place the battle video into this square region here, as you can see where my mouse is, we have to actually edit the size and the location of that battle video. So you're going to want to go back to the track that has the battle video, and there's a little square, 2 little squares. It's called track motion. You're going to want to click onto this, and as you can see, this window pops up here. Now, in this situation, you can actually see where you can actually click and maneuver your actual video. So as you can see here, you can move this little track here. You can also click and adjust the actual folder, not the folder, sorry, the video region. So as you can see, we're actually moving it, and we can actually just place it to wherever we want it. Now, when you actually get to a point where you cannot place the video or get it quite exact, if you go over to where it says the position, like the X, the Y, the width, and the height, you can manually adjust these. So let's say if I want the width to be 1500, you can see how it kind of adjusts the video to being that size. What I've actually done is I've actually gone through and I've made presets for all of my video tracks. So let's say I want my battle video, let's say this is where I want my battle video to be. So let's just get it to where we want it here. So if I go 1400, That's still a little too big. We'll go to 1300 for the width, and we're just going to move the track over here slightly. So you can see it's starting to get into place. There's a little bit of a black border still around it, so we're just going to want to increase this a little bit. So there we have it. We have it right now at an x-axis of 279, y-axis is 72, width of 1318, and height of 741. So the big thing here is that we've got it in place where I want it. Let's say you want to save this, so that way you can just automatically do this quicker next time. Just label it to whatever you want. I'll just label it as sample and just hit save. So now if we go and click the drop down, you see where it says sample here. No matter what option I choose, I can always put it right back into that exact same position. So all you have to do is do this once, line up your background video with your layout, and then save it. Once you save it, it will always be there. If you ever format your computer or anything like that, of course, you always have to go back in and reset it back up, unless you actually copy your preset files. But that's the gist of it. You just have to move it into position, and then you have to just save the track motion. Save it exactly where it is. I don't like the idea of that sample one, so I'm just going to delete that because I have no use for it. And I'm just going to select my battle video option. Now, the big thing with me here is that because my recording is with Citra's 1080p and 4K res options, the battle video is a little bit slow for me. So what I do is I actually have to cut out the battle video where it starts and where it ends. Now, I just realized that I'm listening to music on my other computer, and I have to plug my headset back into my computer system. So, sweet. Playback devices. Okay. So, I'm just going to hit play here. All right. So, this is roughly about where I want to cut my video. So, right now I'm selected on the first track. You can see that by the blue highlight of that track. Where this progress line is, that shows you the exact point and where you're at in the video. So what I do, there's some keyboard shortcuts you can do. You can just go to your S key and hit S, and that'll split it. Alternatively, you could always right click and go to split, and that'll split it the same way. If you make a mistake, just Control Z. Control Z will allow you to take out what you've just done. Okay. Oh, I hit Control S by accident. My bad. So I'm just going to hit S here. We're going to right click and delete that first part of that video. Now, as you can see, the battle video has readjusted itself because we've deleted part of the video already. That's okay. We can always go back and readjust that there slightly after. And we'll just give it a second here. So we're going to find out where we're going to want to cut it. As soon as the background goes black, there we go, boom, and delete. All right, so now as you can see, our battle video is shorter than our top layer, so we just need to readjust that. So you just left click on the back part of that track, and you just shorten it. Now I'm going to have to make myself smaller here, obvious reasons, of course, so that way you guys can see the actual tracks. Now, the big thing with Sony Vegas, I find, is that it actually quits on me a lot. Now, I'm going to save this here. This is Battle 28 verse half. So I'm going to suggest to always save your video because Sony Vegas quits an awful lot. I don't know why that is. It just does it, okay? So we've got our battle video here. Now I want to actually speed up my battle track because if we can see here, I'm just going to put my battle video back to where it needs to go first. If we start watching this video, you can see that it's kind of slow, right? Well, I guess it's not too slow, but Citra runs at a slower pace than most applications, so it might be okay here, actually. I still might speed it up slightly. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you guys. So all you have to do is when you're selected on your video track, you just press Control and you just move your video to where you want to speed it up. Okay, so you just move it to the left, or if you want to slow down the video, you move it to the right. But in this case here, we're actually just going to move it down slightly. So that's roughly about the proper speed. The audio is still going to be a little slower for the effects of the battle, just because in that scenario, like I said, Citra's great, but it's not 100% perfect quite yet. So I actually record my battle videos without the actual battle background. You can actually do that with the Sun and Moon video replay editor. You can actually take out the battle music, but it'll keep all the actual effects of the music there. So don't worry about that. So we've got roughly the start of our video here. Now, if you want to save quickly in your video or on your Sony Vegas, you just press Control S. That is a very quick save method. It's a command. So now we just have to start adding in the rest of our tracks. So as you guys know, I'm very big on my scoreboard. So we need to get that scoreboard tracks put in. So we're going to do that here right now. Now, if you guys are on a laptop or a desktop and your resolution is 1920 by 1080, I find sometimes the resolution is going to be kind of small. I know right now it's actually smaller than I'm used to because my resolution is usually 3440, and I can't remember the other size, but it's set for an ultra widescreen. So I've actually changed my computer resolution to be able to do this video for you. So I'm going to show you a little trick. If your tracks are a little bit too big and you want to see more of your tracks listed, as you can see, we've got 4 Pokeball tracks here. Just click this little minus sign that's over here to the right. This will actually close, or not close, but it'll actually make the tracks smaller. So I'm just duplicating my tracks here just so that way I can easily go through and add them into the video. I'll just give it a moment here. Now, I always leave a separation between my tracks. And the reason being is that I want to know exactly what team is from what. So I always leave like an empty track in between. It just helps kind of keep everything separate. You can always go through and rename them as well, but to be very honest with you, with this type of a battle video, naming the tracks are just going to get, it's just going to take too much more time. And to be honest with you, you probably don't want to spend a whole lot of time because once the video is edited, then you don't really need to add anything else to it. So we're just going through here. This is track number 4. Track number 5. So that's Pokemon number 5. And Pokemon number 6 for Trainer 2. So again, you guys just adjust everything to where you want them and save your track locations. That's what I showed you guys at the very beginning of the video. Once you do that, it makes editing your videos a lot easier. So once you get everything in place, just Control S because that's going to save your video. And what I like to do is I kind of do everything manually. I don't really let the video play. So as you can see, I'm kind of zooming in my video here. Just use the wheel on your mouse to scroll up and you can get your battle video tracks actually changed. Because what's going to let you do is that when you hit play, you can see the actual track moving. Now he's sending out a Pokemon here called Hercules. That looks like it's his Darmanitan. So we found out he's going to send out Darmanitan first. So we're actually going down here to his Pokemon number 1. We're going to click onto where that Pokemon comes in. And we are going to split the top track of his Pokemon. Now, everything here is about layers, guys. So what you want to do is you want to insert a track underneath his Pokeball. Now, this is only if you're doing like a scoreboard setting. I'm showing you guys how to do this just because this is probably the craziest amount of editing you'll ever do to a battle video or to a video in general. So the more that you guys see me work with Sony Vegas, the more you're going to learn just quite how it's done. Shit, he's got... What? Okay, wait, he's got Darmanitan. Did I add the wrong battle video? What? Okay, how did I record this? Oh, I took the files from a wrong video. Well, shoot. Okay, so I've... I did something wrong here, guys. I must have had a different recording at the beginning of this video, because that is definitely not Hef's team. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so I have to get Hef's team put back in here, so let's see. That is my bad. Whoa. We need Scizor and Suicune. And it's a good thing that this is just a simple thing to do, too, because I definitely screwed up. I must have had another video preview in my verse recorder or in my battle video section before recording Hef's. So, where is Scizor? There we go. There's Scizor. We need what now? Sceptile. Okay, there's Sceptile. We also need Raikou. There's Raikou. Gliscor and Darmanitan. Alright, let's get Gliscor and Darmanitan here. Should be showing up here in a minute. Gliscor, okay, and Darmanitan. There we go. There we go. That was super easy to fix. So we're going to delete that. All right, so we are going to go to the part where he calls in a Pokemon. So the idea of my scoreboard is that we got to make a transition. So we go to the transitions tab here. So this is your project folder, your Windows Explorer, your transitions. And what I do is I use the push option, and we actually push up that tile. So you just click and drag it to the tile. And if we zoom in here, you can see where it shows push. We can just click onto this option here. So there's a little line that's here. I don't know if you guys can actually see that or not. I'm going to make this a little bigger. So you see this line that's here. Your mouse kind of changes. So you can click onto the end of that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Darmanitan track and put it here. So that way it's underneath the Pokeball. So when the Pokeball goes up, the Pokemon is right behind it. So first thing I do, my recordings have audio behind them because when I recorded them, I originally wanted the audio. And that's okay. I just delete the track. Again, just right click and delete. You guys don't really need that audio there unless it's in your video to have it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually drag the Darmanitan track right to the end. So the actual recording of Darmanitan is only about maybe 15 to 30 seconds by moving it to the very end, and it extends it. So basically it's just going to completely loop. So it's going to constantly loop. Now, in order to get Darmanitan into tile number 1 of Trainer 2, there's a little crop option here, a little crop symbol that's at the end. I'm going to make this bigger here. Hopefully you guys can see the little crop icon. So we just click onto the crop, and that's going to pop up a window here. Oh. All right, so here we have it. We have Darmanitan from a previous video recording. So what you can do in order to resize it, you can do the same thing as you did there before. Just manually adjust the sizes. I've actually got one that I've actually changed. Mine's actually in a 4:3 ratio. As you can see here, you can actually make it bigger or smaller. Essentially, I'm just going to crop around the... Oh, that's wrong. I don't want to rotate it. We just want to make it big enough so that way we can get the Pokemon into the tile area. And we are going to close once we get it positioned right. So close. And then we're track motioning. And we're putting him as Pokemon on track 1. So if we actually click to the end of the Pokeball track, you can see that Darmanitan actually shows up. Now, we've got him a little bit too far over, so we can just keep going back and readjusting it to the way that you want it. But essentially, that's going to allow you to change the size of the Darmanitan. So if we just go and look at this video here first, so we're going to save. We're going to click here, and we're going to play back. You can see when he sends out his Darmanitan, the tile goes up. So that way you can actually see the Darmanitan. So we're going to do the same thing for my Pokemon, and it looks like we're going to send in the Fortress first. So we're going to find Fortress. We're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to do the transition for push. And now we can actually lay down the track for Fortress. And we're just going to crop him here a bit. There we go. So basically the crop is just taking out the remainder of the blue area that's in that battle video for that Fortress track. Now as you can see here, when I'm trying to extend him, he's not lining up. Just click on one of the ends of the tracks and just line them up with your progress bar. That's the easiest way to get them to show up. And we're going to go to Pokemon Track 1. And I just realized when I'm looking at it here, Fortress is kind of oddly positioned just because of how my layout goes. So I just have to readjust them here. So always go back through your cropping options and your track motion. Get them set exactly the way that you want it. Once you do that, you're gold. You can keep going on. All right. So we're going to keep going through the battle video here. And I've actually just slide the actual battle video progress, because what's happening here is that if I sit and watch the actual battle video, I'll be here for 10 minutes. So we can see Darmanitan's going for the U-turn. He's gone back to Alex's party, and he's going to send out a Pokemon called the Flash, and that's likely his Raikou. Yeah. All right. So we need to find Pokemon 2 for Trainer 2, and we are going to use the push tool, because at the end of that track, we're going to push up the Pokeball, and we are going to reveal the Raikou. And once you actually see how much work goes into editing this video, you guys will understand why it takes so long to actually get these all edited. It takes forever. All right, let's take a look here. Hopefully we get it in the proper spot. Pokemon 2. All right, so right now we have Darmanitan bigger than Raikou. So we're actually going to shrink the crop size so we can get Raikou in there. Got to make sure it fits in just right. All right, and I'm going to press Control S in order to save the battle video, because what's going to end up happening is that we're going to get to a point, it's going to crash, and we're going to run into a problem where we have lost all of our work. So we're going to keep scrolling here. So we've got Fortress out, and we are going to do a layer of stealth rocks. So this is good. I'm going to show you guys how to add text to your video. So you just want to insert a new track. Where it is on the timeline, you just want to right click and go insert text media, and I just type the number 1. So you can see here we've got it. It is extended now, so that's going right through the remainder of the video, and we're going to track motion this. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. So I need to see where it's going to go onto the timeline. So I'm going to go to about 150 for the width. As you can see, I've kind of shrunk the actual number down to a point where you can't see it. But as I move the actual track motion, you can see it coming down to the actual scoreboard. So underneath Stealth Rocks on Hef's timeline, you can see where it has the number 1. You're just going to want to position this to a point where it's exactly where you want it. Now, I don't save this. I never save these because I very rarely have any kind of entry hazards coming into my video. So as you can see, it now has Stealth Rocks set at 1. So far, it looks like it's in the middle. Just keep readjusting it to the way that you like it, because once you get it in place, you're gold. Now, I want this to actually fade in. So we are going to click the left hand of the trim, and we're just going to adjust it to that bar. Hopefully you guys seen how I did that. I'll do it again. So the track with number 1, you see that there's like a little blue triangle there. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to click it and drag it to the timeline bar. So if we go back and we watch this now, we are going to see number 1 fade in. There we go. So you've seen here how the number 1 faded in. We're just going to Control S and save this. So we're going to continue on here. This battle video is going to be friggin' awesome, because what's happened is that the end result of this battle, I'm gonna tell you right now, I never beat Hef. I can never destroy Hef in a Wi-Fi battle, and this battle was the closest we ever came. All right, he's gonna volt switch out, and who's he gonna go out to? He's going out to Suicune. Alright, so we're going to add Suicune to Pokemon number 3. Again, we're going back to transitions. We're going to push up. So that's going to raise that motion. We're going to insert a track underneath. And we are going to put Suicune in here. My mustache is like tickling my nose today. It's ridiculous. So we're going to crop the Suicune, and we're just going to check to see where that's going to go, because we're not too sure exactly how big he's going to be in that tile. Yeah, I made him too small. And he's still a little too small there, actually. There we go. Basically, just keep adjusting them to the way that you want it. And Control S. Always make sure you save. So right now, we've only edited 1 minute and 24 seconds of this battle video. So we're going to keep going here. As you can see, Suicune's coming in. Hurt by the Stealth Rocks. And I'm just going to keep going here. This is the best way to edit your video. Just drag your progress bar, because again, if you sit and watch the entire video, what's going to end up happening is it's going to take forever. Okay, so as you can see, he's calm minding, and we've gone out to Alolan Muck. So my second Pokemon is now coming out onto the field. We're going to find out exactly where he enters in. I'm going to hit play for a second. There we go. And we are going up to track number 2 of my trainer 1. And again, we're going to use the push command. The push command is going to allow it to raise that Pokeball. And we're going to insert a track underneath and put Alolan Muck. There we go. Just drag him right to the end. And we are going to delete the audio. And you get faster at editing this as you go, guys. Like, it's not too bad. It's not too bad at editing. It's just time consuming is the problem. Very time consuming. Gonna lower him down a little bit. There we go. And make him probably a little bigger. And save. Alright, so we now have Muck onto the field. And just going for the Scald, knockoff. Oh, what happened here? Okay, so Suicune used Roar. So bye-bye Muck. And in comes Haxorus. So we got to put Haxorus as Pokemon 3. There we go, number 3. Oh, I'm just going to move that off screen for a sec. Alright, and we're just going to adjust it. There we go. And again, just you're doing that all in the crop window, right? You're just moving them around. And Control S. I always save after every little edit. I've gone through Sony Vegas for years, and Sony Vegas 12 is well known for quitting unexpectedly. Oh, okay, perfect. So this is where a Pokemon finally faints. So Suicune is going to die. We're going to go down to Suicune's track. And what we're going to do, I have 2 different Pokeballs. So one is a solid Pokeball, which is before the actual preview of the Pokemon. When they faint, I've got one that's kind of translucent. So we're just going to put that on the same track as the Suicune Pokeball. As you can see there, you can kind of still see Suicune behind it. We're going to go back to transitions, but we're going to use the push down. And that's going to allow it to bring the Pokeball down over top of it. So you can still see the Pokemon behind it, and it's still moving. Okay, so now he's going to bring out his Sceptile, so we got to put Sceptile onto the track. So again, we're just clicking and dragging, and we're just adjusting things on the timeline. Now, if you guys are doing a Let's Play, your Let's Play is likely not going to be as edited as this is. If it is, I'm going to say kudos to you, because it takes a long time edit those videos, especially if they're like half hour, 45 minutes. But most people usually use images for their Pokemon rather than actual animated tiles. What Pokemon is this? 4? Oh shit, what did I do? No, I did that right, okay. And we're just going to adjust this here. There we go. And Control S. Definitely get into the habit of the Control S, guys. Alright, so we obviously withdrew Haxorus, fearing a Dragon Pulse of some sort. We're going back out to the Fortress. And he's going to Mega Evolve his Sceptile. Now, I don't have a recording of Mega Sceptile, so we're not going to change or transition it. However, there's definitely ways to do it. Alright, so we have Fortress fainting. I used to have recordings of the Mega Forms too, but to be honest with you, it just was so much more to add into the video. And I just didn't want to do it. Alright, so we have... It's going to close down on top of them. There we go. And Sylveon is going to come out next. Alright, so we're going to add Sylveon to my team. Okay, again, we're going to insert a track. And as long as you guys know how to make a video layout, this should all be making sense to you. Now, if you guys don't know how to make a video layout, I actually did a tutorial not long ago on how to make a video layout in Adobe Photoshop. So if you guys haven't seen that yet, that is definitely the first tutorial to this process. So I'd highly recommend to take a look at it if you are at this point where you're like, how do I make a layout? Because this is going to help you. As long as you understand that process and what track goes above what track, like what layer, then editing videos is going to be very easy for you as well. Okay. So that, oh, he's got scissor in here now. Okay, so we need to add scissor into his team. We'll just give it a second here. I gotta find out where that is. Alright, there goes the Sceptile, and Thanatos comes in. So this is his Pokemon number 5. So again, back to transitions. You push it up. And you insert a track. I know there's no music to this actual video, guys, and I apologize for that. It's just I find that if I add any video or audio music in behind this tutorial, it gets a little bit difficult to try to follow it. I've done a few of them in the past, and they've always been, there's always been audio, but yeah, I just feel it would cause a little bit more of a conflict. So far, Scizor is a little bit too small there. But the more that we go in, the less of Scizor that we can see. So we have to kind of make a call whether or not it's important to be that close to him, or if we can actually just move past it. Okay. So we're going to keep going here. I don't think that killed... No, it didn't. So again, we're just going to the point where a Pokemon dies or is swapped in. So that's why I'm telling you not to sit and watch your video, because it will take you forever to edit. I think right now we're actually at 12 minutes for a battle video. Now I know probably most of you are wondering at this point, well, Corey, how do I add my webcam and how do I add my microphone? I'm going to get to that in a little bit until we get to the point where we start to add audio, because I actually don't do any of my audio or my, well, as in my microphone or my camera in Sony Vegas. I do everything with XSplit for any kind of recording purposes, because what ends up happening is with Sony Vegas, the version 12 that I'm using does not have the capability of adding my camera into it, because I'm actually using a Canon DSLR T6i. So I'm actually using a very professional camera in order to basically let you guys see me. It's basically for the quality purposes, of course. He's going into Gliscor next. So yeah, what I do is I do everything with XSplit. But in order to get to the point where I can do my commentary and everything, I have to go through this process first before I can get to that point. And I'm not sure yet if I'm still going to be able to show you guys that recording aspect of it, because I'm probably going to have to capture everything on my laptop. I don't know why, but it's probably so that way we can get it all recorded properly. I'm still trying to figure that all out. So if you guys don't see a tutorial of me putting it all together in XSplit, that is the reason why. But essentially, once the video is actually recorded, you just basically pop it into XSplit, put your camera on top, and you record it as is. So it's pretty simple once you get to this point. It's not too difficult to figure out. I need to make Gliscor a little bigger. Yeah, there we go. All right, so he's got all 6 of his Pokemon now onto the field. And we're still going. All right, so now he's going to give me a Stealth Rocks. So we need to... I'm going to duplicate that track. I'm going to move this track up to my category. I can't remember. Is X across or Y across? X is left and right. Y is up. So we want to put Stealth Rocks up to my category. So we're just moving it upwards. You can see the little 1 moving there. All right, that looks about roughly right. And we're just going to adjust that track. So now we should have the number 1 fade into my area of the scoreboard. So we both have 1 Stealth Rocks on each side. All right, he's got the Toxic Orb, so he's healing himself with that. It looks like I'm getting an Earthquake to the face. And he's going to die. All right. And we're going to make him fade. There we go. You can still see the Gliscor moving behind the actual layout. Sceptile's back. Pretty sure he takes out the Sylveon. Yeah. Alright, so Sylveon. And it's all about layers, guys. It's all about the layers. Now, it's a very good question. Did I put the right one onto Gliscor? I think I did, but there we go, just in case. Okay, so Sylveon fainted. Going back to Muck. Okay, so Sceptile fainted. So we're actually speeding this up just a little bit, just in the process, just because I know it's a long recording. And if you guys can't sit through a long recording like this, it's going to be really hard to edit those long videos. Definitely need to have patience when you're doing it. Alright, so he still has Raikou and Darmanitan. Alright, so my Muck fainted. So we gotta find Muck. And there we go. And save it. Always make sure you save it. I'm going to say this so many times during this tutorial. Okay, we got Haxorus. Flare Blitz. Luckily I survived. And Hercules goes out. We're actually getting pretty close to the end of this video, or this edit rather. There's still quite a few things that I added into mine. I'll show you how I do those here in just a little bit. I'm going to be adding some background audio, so some battle music. I'm also going to be adding my ads that show like my T-shirt and so on like that. I don't know why I did that. I apologize. But pretty sick shirt, eh? I mean, that's a pretty cool shirt. Like, I don't know, guys. I don't know. I think it's pretty neat. Let's see here. Make myself a bit bigger. You can see the whole logos on the shirt. That's what I advertise, guys. I advertise my T-shirts because I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty neat that I have those. All right, so Haxorus is still here. That's got to be Hidden Power Ice. Haxorus faints. Just making sure I put the right push feature there. Alright, who's the next? Infernape comes out. Alright, so we gotta put Infernape in here now. Pretty sure that's Pokemon number 5. Okay, Infernape's in there. Pretty good. There we go. And we're just extending him to the end of the video. So the more video tracks that you add into your video, I'm pretty sure that's the reason why it crashes. I'm pretty sure. But extra sensory. What a ridiculous move. Not ridiculous, but I should have seen that coming when I was doing the battle, that he would have extra sensory. Alright, there it is. Rotom. My last Pokemon is Rotom. Okay. And I always keep one track in between Team 1 and Team 2. It just helps separate them so that way it's easier to figure out. And extend him. Delete the audio. Alright, now we got to figure out exactly where I die here. Oh, there we go. There's the feint. And we do this. And then, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Raikou also feints because of the recoil or life orb damage. So we gotta find Raikou. See how it's not playing back there? There's too many video tracks. So you kind of have to play it out. So that's where he feints here. So we're gonna put him into feint. And we're gonna lower the Pokeball tile there too. Now I can change the quality. The higher the quality, the worse the playback options. There it is. So it does feint. Alright, so we've got the battle video pretty well done, except I do have to add my battle video audio. So I'm going to open up my Windows Explorer here again. Let me find out where my audio is. Sun and Moon audio. There we go. So I actually have all the audio of Sun and Moon here. We are going to go with perhaps Champion audio. Yeah, that's what I want. We're going to put that in here. So we are going to put this at the very bottom track, and we are going to adjust it. Now the first thing about adding audio is that you don't want it too loud. As you can see here, you can see the actual peaks and everything of the actual audio. What I usually do is I click and drag the gain down, so that way it's not crazy loud. The next thing that I also do as well, I need to get the audio options here. So the video audio that I have is these sounds for the effects of the battle. So I always raise those up to 12 dB. And I lower the audio down to about 7.9 for battle audio. 7.8 will be fine, I think. Probably can't get it any closer. And we're just going to let this music fade out. So you can actually fade it. There we go. So if we go and check it here, let's check it. Let's hit play onto it. The draft, we're going to go to quarter. Alright, so as you can see, we've got the battle video to where we need it. The last step that I do when I edit my battle videos, just going to make sure everything is small here, is I add my little pop-ups in the bottom left-hand corner here. So I have one pop-up to advertise my t-shirts. The next pop-up that I have is to advertise Snowpoint Temple, which is my online Pokemon battling community. And then the third pop-up that I have advertises the Angel Cup rule set. So if you guys don't know, I actually made my own battle format called Angel Cup. So I want to make sure that I get those in here as well. So let me see if I can find those files. Again, always make sure you save your video because, again, Sony Vegas is known to quit. Just be one moment here for me to try to find these. Those are my icons. There we go. So I have one for Angel Cup, one for Snowpoint Temple, and one for the t-shirts. So I'm going to insert a video track at the very beginning of my video. And the first thing that I drop down, I always drop down. Where is it here? My t-shirts. Alright, so we're going to zoom back in here. Now what I do, as you guys can see here, my t-shirt ad pops up here at the very top. Just track motion it to where you want it. Of course, I've already got mine to show up. And I actually make mine fade in at 11 seconds. And I show them for about 30 seconds at a time. And I always fade them by 11 seconds. So that's the first one. So as you can see, we've got the t-shirts option showing up in the bottom left-hand corner. The next one is I usually have Angel Cup. So every 30 seconds, I usually put up a little pop-up. Because you don't want to overdo it with these because people think you're all about that. And really, I'm just trying to bring knowledge to Snowpoint Temple. That's all I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to grow a Pokemon community. So 11 seconds for the fade in. Well, not 11 seconds, it's like nanoseconds or something. Alright, there we go. And then the next 30 seconds, there we are. There's the champion option for Snowpoint Temple. Gonna zoom in more. 11 seconds. And 11 seconds. There we go. All right, so we've got it to show up every 30 seconds, I think. Let me see. Oh, wow, okay. Gotta make that move in a little bit more. Wasn't every 30 seconds. My bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to highlight these 3 files. So you can see they're on the same track. I'm going to just hold Control and click those tiles. I'm going to do Control C to copy them. And at 3 minutes, I'm going to Control V. And that's going to paste them onto the timeline. We're also going to do the same thing at 6 minutes. The same thing at 9 minutes. And now here's an interesting thing here, is because I can't really leave it so that way it doesn't show one. So I'm just going to do it again here a little bit closer. I'm going to delete this one, and there we go. So that is actually at the very end of the video. It's going to show the t-shirt one again. It's going to show it a little bit sooner, but that's all right. But we always want to make sure something's being popped up there. So Control S. So now we have our battle video completely made and it's ready to render. Okay, so the render is ready. So I'm going to show you guys those settings. So now you go to File and Render As. So my video settings are a little bit different. My computer system is a beast. I'm going to show you my computer specifications. Just give me a second here, see if I can bring up my task manager for you. So my system is the specific information. So I'm using an Intel i7-6850K processor. This is actually a 6-core processor, clocked at 3.6 gigahertz. And my system memory, I have 128 gigs of RAM. So right now I'm actually using about 15 gigs worth of system memory. Please note this is not for Sony Vegas. This is just in general. So when you go to render, the slower your processor, the longer render time it's going to take. And as you can see in my settings here where it says CUDA, this is actually using my processor settings on my graphics cards. I actually have 2 1080 graphic cards that are water cooled. So I'm just going to show you my computer management window for a second, just to show you I do have 2 1080s in here. That's my disk management, sorry. Device manager, display. So as you can see, I have 2 1080s here. So it actually renders a lot quicker on this system. It does it in about 2 to 3 hours. If you guys have just a regular quad-core i7 or under, it could probably take a little bit of time. So just keep that in mind when you're adding more and more and more to your videos. They do take longer to render. So first thing I'm going to show you here is we're going to show you the specific settings. So it's under Main Concept, AVC, AAC. When you guys are going to render, you're going to see a big long list of all these options. So what you're going to want to do is go to Main Concept, and underneath it you're going to want to find Internet HD 1080p and click Customize. Okay, so I'm going to show you my specific settings. So customize the settings here. So these are the exact settings you're going to want to use. So for the frame size, it's 1920 by 1080. The profile is set to high and the frame rate is set to 60 frames per second. Now you're going to want to checkmark allow source to adjust frame rate. Field order is non-progressive, so that way it's going to do it all as one rather than layer upon layer. It'll take longer if you do layer and layer. Pixel ratio is 1. Number of referenced frames is 2. Variable bit rate. Now I have mine maxed right now. You don't have to do that, but the more that you have it rendering as, the less pixelation and distortion you're going to see in your video. Now where it says encode mode, render using CUDA if available. Only select this if you guys have dedicated graphic cards, because this is going to render with my 2 video cards along with my processor. So it's going to render a little bit quicker than it would if it was just the processor. And enable progressive download. Now go to audio. I have mine set at the maximum audio settings, so 96,000 and 512,000 for the bitrate. And the file format you're going to want to do is MP4. Okay. Now, if you guys aren't sure if you have a dedicated graphics card, just click check GPU. It'll tell you if you have CUDA available or not. Okay. Now up at the very top here, if you want to save those settings, just click, type it whichever you wish, and then hit save. As you can see, I have a couple of options here when I click my drop down. Just hit save. Okay, hit OK. And in order to find it quickly, just put a little star next to it. As you can see, you can click the star. Just click it, make sure it's yellow, and click show favorites only. That way it's a lot quicker for you to find your specific setting. And just browse to where you want to save the file. Of course, I have my own file folders all set up. Mine's actually saved in Dropbox, my Wi-Fi battles for October, and under a format called render, under a folder called render. And you just click render. As you can see here, this is the reason why I tell you to save your videos. I'm so glad it actually did it in this, because it tells me it stopped working. Just hit don't send. As long as you saved your videos, you are gold. Just reopen up your project that you saved it as. Let's give it 1 second here. It pops everything back up, which is perfect. My video window has disappeared. That's okay. It's just because I usually do everything in a wide scale. So we just go to File, Render As. As you can see, we've got the highlight here. Just click Render. And there you have it. That is all you have to do to render your video. All right, now again, I do all of my audio and my camera. So my microphone and my camera that you see here right now, this is actually done in XSplit. So what I do actually is everything is in XSplit when I go to commentate a battle video. Okay, now again, I'm going to try to see if I can show you guys that process. Again, I'm not sure if I can, just because I don't know how I can capture that without having it. It's really hard to explain. It's going to like layer itself into like different. It's going to be really hard to record. I apologize. So as you can see, it's probably goofing up the recording here right now. You can see there's a little bit of a frame rate issue with me, just because I'm rendering the video. So that's all you have to do, guys. That is the entire process on how I edit my videos. To get the commentary and everything into it, I'll see if I can do that process. I cannot guarantee I'll have a tutorial for it, but if I can, I will definitely make sure I pop that up. All right, guys, thank you guys very much for watching. Hopefully this has helped you guys learn a little bit of Sony Vegas. This is a 10-year experience that I have with Sony Vegas. I've been editing videos for 10 years. I've been doing Photoshop layouts for 10 years as well. So hopefully a little bit of my knowledge has been able to be passed along to you. If you guys found that this tutorial was helpful, press that like button and post your comment. I'd definitely like to hear from you guys if everything has been helpful. And if you guys enjoy my videos, make sure you hit that sub button, guys. That sub will notify you anytime I upload a video. All right, thank you very much for watching. Take care and have a good one. Peace out.